Jen here. I am the author of Witchcraft Therapy and the upcoming soon to be released book, Happy Witch. Today we are going to be talking about personal celebration rituals, namely, what the fuck are they and why I believe they're so foundational. Like, I think these are non-negotiable. You should absolutely have one as a part of your personal practice. And then I'm going to tell you one personal celebration ritual that I use so that hopefully you can use it yourself should you need one. Now, as some of you might know from reading my book, or if you're part of any of my spaces, or if you follow me on social media, you will know that I am a secular witch. So my personal practice is very much geared towards my own personal psychology. So I use witchcraft as a tool for personal empowerment and healing. It's not like there isn't, a fair amount of woo and energetics in my practice, but most of my practice, the actual spells that I do, the rituals that I do, etc., are usually about empowerment, personal empowerment, or somehow trying to find healing when it comes to my own wellness, personal growth, and mental health. So as part of that, a lot of my magical practice is kind of based on the psychological model of magic. So basically this idea that through using symbol and ritual, we can help make lasting changes on our mindset and on our experience of the world and our place within it. So basically, the way that I use my magical practice for the most part is trying to kind of subvert my brain's kind of hardwired program bullshit in order for me to step up to life feeling more confident, empowered, happy, etc. So as part of this, having a personal celebration ritual has been very helpful when I accomplish something, when I achieve something. As a lot of you might know, I am a person who has some issues with mental health, with neurodivergence. And so for me, it can be really easy to kind of achieve something and then be like, cool. So now what? Whereas if I fuck something up, I can get really caught up in this space of like, oh my God, I fucked it up. I ruined everything forever. So having a personal celebration ritual practice that I kind of incorporate in on a rolling basis as I achieve things, as I do things, as I actually take action on things, has been really helpful for me to kind of anchor in the moment of celebration rather than just glossing over it and moving on. So what is a personal celebration ritual? Mainly, this is anything that you do for yourself to mark the occasion of having done something or achieved something. It's kind of like a little mini celebration that you have with yourself for yourself. Now, it can be really easy for us to kind of like mentally think or like pat ourselves on the back kind of in our brains like, oh yeah, like that was really good that I achieved that. But having a celebration ritual as something that's very concrete that you're actually doing, you're using your body to actually create the ritual. You might be saying things out loud. It's activating different parts of your body, of your brain, whatever, to really actually be engaging your whole body, your whole spirit, your whole mind in this celebration process so that we don't just rush over the good parts of having achieved something and we actually take the time to intentionally celebrate it. Now, I believe that this should be a part of every witch's practice, mainly just because I think it's a good way to kind of rewire your brain and retrain your brain in order to see the things that are worth celebrating. Again, so we don't just like gloss over stuff. It gives us really a chance to, again, very intentionally have a celebration for something that we've achieved. Because typically the things that we're achieving, whether it be something that we have worked diligently towards or whether it be something that we have just kind of overcome or adapted to, that all takes a lot of work. So I believe that taking a few minutes to actually make a concrete practice where you're celebrating yourself for that is kind of worthwhile and a good reward to have. It also can be really helpful for adding a little bit of magic into your life on a rolling basis. So I know that there's a lot of people out there who kind of get caught up in this idea of like, oh, I don't really feel connected to my witchcraft practices, or I haven't done a spell in a while, or all these other kind of little bits of insecurities and stuff that we can have kind of pop up when it comes to our personal practices. It's a way that we can actually be doing magic, appreciating ourselves, and inviting a little bit of ritual into our daily lives. So it's not that you have to do a ritual like this every day, but it is just a very short, actionable piece of magic that you can incorporate into your life to mark certain occasions or certain achievements in a way that is magical and fun. Now, your personal celebration ritual, I'm always a huge advocate for people to build and create their own rituals and spells. So what your ritual will include really has a lot to do with the things you like, the things that symbolize triumph for you, the things that symbolize celebration, all of that sort of thing. It will be very unique to you. So the more unique to you it is, the more powerful and impactful it will be. But I'm going to just give you a little sample ritual that I do just in case you need some inspiration. Now, I am a huge fan of using birthday candles for these rituals. The reason for that is they're short, their burn time is very brief, so it's like a good, quickie little ritual. I just got these from the dollar store. I mean, I don't think we need to get too fucking precious about it. I'm definitely one of these witches that is like intention is everything. So I picked yellow candles because to me that symbolizes joy, celebration, happiness. It's the color of the sun. I mean, come on, look at it. So what I would typically do is light one of these just as kind of like a thank you to myself or a way to mark the occasion of the thing that I just overcame or achieved. And then what I would do is take a mason jar and a little scrap of paper like this. And so one thing that I find to be really helpful on an ongoing basis is to write down the thing that I'm celebrating and then roll it up and put it in the jar. Now, this is just an example, but if I had done this for real, usually I like to put some things in here, such as jasmine or calendula, dried, or rose petals or whatever, sometimes a little Himalayan pink salt, put that in a base in the jar, and then I would take this and put this in here. Now, as I go through life, move through life, have things to celebrate, each time that something like that would happen, I would do the same thing. I would light the candle, show appreciation for myself, write down the wins, roll them up, and put them in the jar, so that eventually what you would end up with is a little jar of accomplishments and achievements that you can kind of refer to when you're having dark times later, is that you can kind of sit there and then go through that and kind of recognize and really have like a concrete example of how far you've come. Because this is another thing that can happen to us, is we can kind of spend so much time trying to like put out the fires in our lives and get through the day to day and all of that bullshit, that we can kind of feel like, what am I doing with our lives? But if you've taken the time to have a practice like this, to really show celebration for yourself like this, and have something concrete that you can go and refer to later, it can really help take the piss out of our imposter syndrome or other demons that like to tell us that we ain't doing shit. So that's pretty much it. That is all about celebration rituals. It's something that I recommend for everybody, for everything. So anything from, for some people it can be as simple as like, oh my God, I actually finished a whole book. For other people it can be somebody triggered me and I didn't react the way that I normally do. It can be literally anything, because the more in the habit that we get of celebrating ourselves, of hyping ourselves up, the better things will be for us, because we're actually going to be kind of getting our brains to a space where we're actually willing to notice the good shit that we do instead of just the dumb shit. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments.